I can't imagine anybody's like just hanging with him, being like, "Yo, it's my dude Elon. Let's go just chill out for a while." Like him and all his buddies. I just can't imagine that.
And then who would want to?
Who would want to?
Right.
But the best moments in my life is being with people that I love, and just like just that vibe that comes off of the skin and
That's
being in that
right.
space.
Yeah. It's a blessing.
Is it time for our Q&A, or should we? All right, so we'll take 2 or 3 questions. Please raise your hand, and Monty can pick from the audience. We see hands around here.
Okay. Let's see.
What's your name? Sage. What's up? Oh, somebody.
Thank you. Thank you for your work and your thorough, your research and your study, and all of the things that you cite in your work. I'm in a curiosity around the like black and blue, right? And I think about James Brown talking about black as an attitude, right? So black is both a people, and there's so much that writes about black as an ideology, blackness. And so when I hear black and blue, I hear both black in blue, and then I hear black in blue, right? So I wonder, based on your question earlier, what can blue teach us? What is the ideology of blue that can offer us something, and what can it offer us in this moment?
So it's such a good question. There is a universality to blue, right? And one of the things I say is the whole world loves the color blue because it's called the sky and the waters. And it is a contrapuntal color, meaning that it's hot and cold. It's a source of wonder. It's sublime, but it's also dangerous when you think of the ocean. Blackness is as expansive as that. And so that's part of what I'm trying to get at is that, and this is partially because of the journey actually across the oceans. It is giving sound to blue, the world's favorite, through the blues, giving sound to the world's favorite color. It is existing in that space of both wound and beauty and danger and grace, and returning to the water, even after how devastating it was. For me, this is a kind of height of human expression. It is a spiritual grandeur that you can find in the tradition. So I'm telling a specific story about Black folks, but what I'm trying to say is something about how universally human, right? Blackness, actually, that there's something about the height of what it could mean to be a human, both the depths, the cruelty, right? But also what it means to be self-sustaining and creative in the face of that. And so to me, it's like, is to understand that Blackness, and by telling stories about blue, has that kind of scope and range and power. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you. We have a question over here, and then maybe one more question after this.
Hey,
what's your name, man?
My name is Tito. Born and raised in Philly, so shout out to that. I appreciate it. My mom was she grew up in North Philly, so that was funny. She did have worries about me moving to New Orleans because she was like, "Oh, scary down there." I'm like, we're from now. Anyways, I was immediately drawn to the book. I didn't get to actually read it. I listened to your interview on NPR, but I was drawn to the book because I play rugby in New Orleans, and the rugby team is called Crescent City Blues. And I also started a rugby team of my own, where it's a predominantly Black team. We travel around the country, and then I got some of my teammates on it, and we have a group chat called Black in Blue. So I was immediately drawn to it. But I think some of the things that I have to deal with in this club, this one particular person, he kind of has a certain proximity to whiteness, even though he is a Latino person. So sometimes he pulls some things that make me uncomfortable, and he co-ops blue. There was one incident where he said there was like a social theme, and it's called Blue Lives Matter or something like that. And I think
You took that personally.
I did. Obviously. And I talked with my teammates who were also Black, and even other people who weren't Black, and it was just like, yo, this is weird. It just makes me feel icky. And I guess my question is, like, how do I navigate this space as a literal Black in blue? Like, I put on that uniform
Ooh, yeah.
actively, weekly. I mean, I don't really do it as much often, but how do I sort of reclaim it as a Black person, but then also like co-opt that space with this person who may be difficult or other people that may not understand? I'm excited to get into the book also. So
Yeah. Thank you. That's a beautiful question. And I will say, it's funny, I said something similar yesterday on a different question as to what I'm about to say is I feel very uncomfortable telling people what kind of risks to take with their lives. And we make these choices every day. You know, it's sort of like the reality of being, I think, Black in America. You make choices every day to not react to insult and injustice, like all the time. And there's that, that the Morrison quote, this the function of racism is distraction. It circulates a lot. But I think there's a sort of a piece about it that doesn't get circulated, which is that we live strategically, right? So it's both a question, if I react to this thing, right, what's going to be the consequences, right? Do I want to spend my whole life reacting? But it's also, do I want my existence to be reduced to the fact of the ugliness and injustice, right? And so I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that we not only have to think about, we should actually talk about it more. Like we should be talking about these choices that we're making, not just as the repetition of all of these moments, but how do you think about this? How do I, for me, I will say there are some institutions that I participate in, like my job, where I don't think I'm not going to be successful in changing that place, which means that my investments in social transformation are not actually based in that institution. Because I don't think, I just don't think I can win. I don't think I have enough allies to try to win on the terms there, right? And so I'm going to look elsewhere. But I don't talk to other people that much about that decision. I might be wrong, because it could be that other people are actually thinking in the same way and we could actually do something more dramatic. So I think that's as best as I have to offer as a solution.
Thank you. We have one more question. What's your name, please?
It's Erica.
Hey, Erica.
Hi. I am currently working on a dissertation on the Black and white experience of growing up in Mississippi post-civil rights. And I've been, of course, diving into all of the literature, and I've read this Your South to America book. And the way you write is just so incredibly beautiful. And there's one piece here that, if it's okay, can I read? You say, Black and white were made together. They are strangely symbiotic, opposing yet intimate. And you talk about intimacy in the introduction of the Ghost of Segregation book that you wrote for. And it's just such a beautiful way to speak about the Black and white relationship. And I just wanted to hear a little bit more about how you came to that place.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's just true. I mean, it's literal, right? In the same houses, in the same rooms, not in the same cemeteries, but at the deathbed. But I think, part was two things. One is that intimacy, and this is why I think it's useful to write in different areas, right? Because I write and think about gender too, right? We know that intimacy doesn't mean an absence of injustice, right? Because, we know about patriarchy, right? So that there can be a very intense closeness that coexists with cruelty. And so that is actually, I think, a big part of the story of the American South is that and it also, it's an intimacy that doesn't have that kind of two-way. The curiosity is not sufficiently going in two ways, right? So that Black people have always been in intimate quarters that were owned by white people. The reverse has not been the curiosity has not gone the same way historically. And so it's really just, for me, it's just an observation of fact that is also dramatic. I see it's dramatic, having spent so much time in the North where there is not that intimacy necessarily, right? And so there are people who think, oh, if, Black and white people just got close to each other, everything would be solved. Yeah, you need to go to other parts of the country. You see, that's not really the reality. You know what I mean? I remember when the people who my grandmother worked for, when they would come to pick up the kids, we would hide. We would like run behind. We'd be playing with the white children, and then their parents would come and we would hide, right? There was a sense of like propriety that was shifted. And so all of those, I want to try to hold on to what we know about how closeness can be cruelty in order to actually address injustice from the inside out as well as from the outside in, and to be more honest, right, about its shape. It's not simply a matter if people start loving each other, then things get right. Respect is so much more important than love when it comes to matters of justice.
Okay, DJ has an announcement in a second, but before that, let's please give a big hand to Dr. Imani Terry.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.